Welcome back, YouTube. I'm going to provide a follow-up video for the one I made yesterday because we're talking about the grab for liquidity and to kind of see how this would play out as those candles began to close and where it would grab that liquidity from. And Doge and Bitcoin had a second win, pretty much as of pretty much closing out yesterday and on into today as well, because they both rallied from those liquidity zones and didn't even actually. Bitcoin went a little below the 200-day EMA, but Doge actually didn't touch this the trend line here and was actually able to recover and get that liquidity and actually start moving up. So as for now, Doge is keeping trend, which is actually good. It didn't need to come down all the way to actually even grab that liquidity. We are still on this upward trend here, and this will be the case until until the trend is broken. We'll see where that liquidity keeps coming from. But as for right now, yes, Doge has made a recovery from the liquidity line here, because technically speaking, it could have, the trend would say it would bounce off of this line here, but we know the liquidity zone is the beginning up here around like this 709, 702 mark. Typically this wide zone here is where Doge gets most of its liquidity from. So typically you can kind of expect those things to kind of, if it gets into a pinch, typically this is where Doge goes to kind of like rest, go sideways and grab that liquidity before its next ascent. But yep, Doge is doing fine here right off of a 200-day EMA. And this actually puts it in great position, as we talked about yesterday, is because what we have here is the 72-day creeping up to this 200-day. So that'll get another golden cross, because if you see here, the 200-day crossed the 72, and then we got this boom. We got this boom here, and then the 200-day crossed the the 14-day. Sorry, the yellow line is the 14-day. The 14-day crossed the 72, and we got this boom. And the 14-day crossed this red line, which is the 200, and we're able to trend up. Now we have a much stronger indicator, which is the 72-day. And if this crosses this, we can expect a much larger movement up. And then, of course, after that, the next one would be, next really big indicator will obviously be the 200-day. And then that's where you kind of get like those monstrous climbs up, because once the 200-day, if a 200-day crosses a 14 or a 200-day crosses a 72, then you're just off to the moon at that point. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But right now, the biggest catalyst, what we're going to see here is Doge staying above this trend, and keep an eye on this 72-day and seeing if we're going to get across here at the 200. So that's still a few days out, but as you can see, it is coming along probably somewhere in here, probably late November, probably I'll say like the next week or so. So if we're staying up here and continuing this trend, we can have another rally here and possibly propel us to the 10-cent range. So let's take a look here at BTC so I can show you guys what I was talking about, so I'm not just alluding to things that you can't see. This is the 14-day. So same thing here. You got the 14-day crossing the 72. You got the boom. You got the 14-day crossing the 200. We got the boom. And so what we're looking at here, and the 72 is, because this is kind of similar to what I was talking about with Dogecoin. So you see right here, this is the 72 crossing the 200. So you see we're kind of having, it was kind of stalling here, and you had that buying pressure come in. A lot of times people were saying that, oh, this is a gap, it's probably going to fill it to the downside. But, obviously that indicator, you can kind of project it, because EMAs are somewhat of a lagging indicator. But if you can see them kind of converging toward each other, you can get an idea of what's about to happen and kind of make some speculations on, at least on movement. And we see that the 72 crossed the 200, and then we're able to catch a second win here. And even then, it kind of filled that gap to the downside. But then we see that the 14-day acted as support, and we're able to kind of bounce off the 14-day for the second time, really, on the 14-day range, and grab some liquidity from there. So ultimately, what you're going to look at is to see, and going forward, what we're really looking for in these coins, and whether that's Doge, Bitcoin, Ethereum, really any of them, you're looking for places to establish support and establish a zone as far as to kind of build up the coin and say, okay, well, this is going to be the new resting period for this cycle, for this time, before you ascend to like the next level. That's really what you're looking for. You're looking for to establish a higher high, for lack of better words. You'll see this throughout the cycle. You'll have these rallies, and then you have like these resting periods and these rallies here. And typically that's where a lot of the traders are trying to figure out is, okay, where is it going to rally? Where is it going to rest? This is going to determine entries and exits. So this is kind of where you see things get a little shaky in those resting periods or those zones, because things start bouncing around because people are trying to anticipate, okay, should I take profits here and re-enter, or do we have higher to go? And that's typically the battle of these assets. So when you start seeing things like when you have this ascend and then you start seeing a sell-off here, but then it recovers, you expect a lot of this as we get closer to or in deeper into the next cycle. Expect a lot of this. This determines a lot of the battles that go on in crypto. So, matter of fact, let's take a look here, because I'm now curious. I wasn't going to cover it in this video, but I want to take a look at Ethereum. I know it traces, yeah, very similar action here. 14-day, crossing the 72, crossing the 200. Big movements here. And Ethereum is actually, because Ethereum technically trends more with Bitcoin. But as far as for the setup here, it's actually more in a, as far as the EMAs, it's actually more closer to Dogecoin cycle, because this Bitcoin cycle, the 72 has already crossed the 200. So that next leg up would either be like the 200 crossing or for Bitcoin to grab some liquidity. But with Ethereum here, the 72 has not crossed the 200 yet, which is similar to what Dogecoin cycle would be. So you can expect another big uptick if you are keep an eye on this here, probably sometime around the same time as for Doge, because even if you look, let's see here. It's falling. This is like a steep incline. I mean, just absolute nasty. This is actually what you want here. You have those consolidation periods. It's not necessarily, they're very strong movement ups, but it's a very strong movement up, but it's not, and it's not filling the gap like violently as it did up. So you're having like that battle there. It's kind of retracting, grabbing some liquidity, and then pacing itself for the next leg up. So which is really good, and it's staying literally on trend. This is very similar to Dogecoin cycle here, and even bouncing off of it's bouncing off the 200 like Bitcoin, but the placement in cycles here with the EMA and in the trend line align more closely with Doge. So this is actually very, very good here. So if you are looking at this and it continues to continues on this trend, we're going to see $2,200 Ethereum before the end of the month. So this is a very powerful trend here. And certainly if we get a lot closer here with this 72 and this 200, you can expect that a very powerful leg move up, probably another several $100s, probably even $2,300, depending on what's going on around that time. So this is a great comeback for crypto. That's why I titled this video, Great Comeback. This is a great comeback as we settle and try and make these new trends here. And then we'll keep tracking it as we're making these stride upwards. So as always, I'll report if we get any new information, any cycle breaks and stuff like that. I will certainly fill you guys in. Don't forget, check out Moomoo. You get 15 free stocks depending on how much you deposit, and you get 5.1% interest if you guys are looking to trade stocks. And I have a link in the description section, and of course that also helps out the channel. So with that being said, I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next update.